Something happened in the Wednesday Season 2 Part 2 finale that no one saw coming. Just when fans thought the mystery had been solved, the story flipped upside down with a shocking reveal that changed everything for Wednesday Addams and Nevermore Academy. It wasn't just another twist. It was a game-changing moment that left fans questioning who they can trust, what's real, and how much darker Wednesday's journey can get. But to really understand the meaning behind this finale, and why the ending is so important, we need to first go back and look at the key moments that brought us here. Part 2 of Wednesday Season 2 wasted no time picking up the story where the first half left us hanging. Wednesday was already knee-deep in danger, and the stakes were higher than ever. From the start, she was determined to uncover the truth behind the strange attacks that haunted Nevermore and the town of Jericho. Every clue seemed to lead her deeper into a tangled web of secrets that stretched far beyond what anyone imagined. And of course, Wednesday never faced an easy path. Her sharp mind and fearless spirit made her a target for anyone who wanted to keep their secrets buried. One of the biggest challenges Wednesday faced in Part 2 was deciding who she could trust. She's never been the kind of person to rely on others, but this time, the mystery forced her to open up to allies like Enid, Xavier, and Bianca. Still, the cracks in those friendships began to show. Enid struggled with her own identity and powers. Xavier grew frustrated at always being pushed aside, and Bianca's loyalties were constantly questioned. These tensions weren't just side stories, they played a huge part in the emotional weight of the finale. At the same time, Wednesday's investigation revealed that the strange happenings weren't random at all. Each event connected back to an even darker plan that had been brewing in the shadows. Every step forward meant another risk, another close call, and another moment where Wednesday had to decide how far she was willing to go. She uncovered hidden symbols, old family secrets, and dangerous enemies disguised as friends. By the time she pieced together the bigger picture, the truth was staring her in the face. But it was already too late to stop what was coming. The build-up to the finale made one thing clear: this wasn't just about solving a mystery, it was about Wednesday herself. Her struggle to balance her sharp, cold logic with the emotions she usually hides made the journey even more powerful. Whether she admitted it or not, she cared deeply about the people around her. That vulnerability made her stronger, but it also left her open to heartbreak. And in the final episodes, that heartbreak came crashing down. By the time the last episode began, the pieces were all in place. The tension between friends had reached its peak. The enemies in the shadows were ready to strike, and Wednesday was standing on the edge of a truth that could destroy everything she thought she knew. The finale wasn't just the end of a mystery. It was the breaking point that tested Wednesday in ways she had never faced before. The finale's most unforgettable moment came when the truth was finally exposed, and it wasn't what anyone expected. Wednesday had spent the entire season convinced she was closing in on the true villain, but the shocking twist showed us that the danger was much closer than she ever realized. The person she thought she could rely on most was actually the one pulling strings in the shadows. This betrayal didn't just shake Wednesday's world, it redefined the entire season in a single moment. What made the twist so powerful was how well it had been hidden in plain sight. The finale pulled back the curtain on moments we all saw before, but now they carried a new meaning. The friendly smiles, the helpful advice, the carefully timed appearances, suddenly it was all clear. This wasn't kindness. It was manipulation. Wednesday, who prided herself on seeing through lies and deception, was tricked by someone she thought was on her side. That sting of betrayal hit just as hard for the audience as it did for her. The reveal itself unfolded with chilling precision. Wednesday uncovered the final piece of evidence that exposed the traitor, and for the first time in the season, she froze. It wasn't fear, it was the realization that everything she had been fighting for was twisted into a cruel game she never signed up for. This wasn't just a victory for the villain. It was a personal defeat for Wednesday, the kind that cut deeper than any physical wound. The betrayal also connected back to earlier episodes in ways that felt both shocking and inevitable. The strange coincidences, the near escapes, the puzzles that seemed to solve themselves, it all made sense now. Every win Wednesday thought she had earned was quietly being controlled behind the scenes. The brilliance of the twist wasn't just in the reveal, but in how it reframed the entire season. What once looked like random chaos now appeared as a carefully designed trap, and yet the finale didn't stop at one twist. The betrayal opened the door to something even bigger. Just as Wednesday confronted the truth, she discovered that this betrayal wasn't just personal, it was part of a much larger plan. The villain's motives weren't only about revenge or power. They tied into a hidden history that stretched far beyond Nevermore Academy. This wasn't just one person's scheme, it was the start of something much more dangerous. Something that could haunt Wednesday long after this season ended. For Wednesday, the twist left her with more questions than answers. Why hadn't she seen it sooner? How could someone get so close without her noticing? And most importantly, what does this mean for her future? The ending made it clear, even Wednesday, with all her sharp instincts, isn't untouchable. Her greatest strength, her ability to push people away and rely only on herself, was also her weakness. By refusing to fully trust, she overlooked the one person who was hiding in plain sight. This is what made the finale so unforgettable. It wasn't just about shocking viewers with a sudden twist. It was about testing Wednesday on the deepest level. She solved the mystery, yes, but in solving it she lost something bigger: her certainty, her confidence, and her belief that she was always one step ahead. And as the credits rolled, fans were left with a haunting thought. If Wednesday can be outsmarted, then no one is safe. While the shocking twist took center stage in the finale, what gave it real weight were the character arcs that reached their breaking points. Wednesday's story may always be the spine of the show, but the finale made it clear that every character around her was on their own journey, and their struggles, choices, and sacrifices made the ending far more emotional than anyone could have expected. Let's start with Wednesday herself. From the very beginning of Season 2, she fought to keep her emotions under lock and key. Her dark wit, her sharp mind, and her icy independence made her stand out, but they also made her vulnerable in ways she refused to admit. The finale forced her to confront something she hated: the fact that she cared. When the betrayal was revealed, it wasn't just about solving a mystery, it was about realizing that her attempt to stay detached had failed. She let someone close enough to hurt her, and that made the ending sting with heartbreaking intensity. Enid's arc also came full circle in the finale. Throughout Part 2, she struggled with her identity and the fear that she would never truly fit in, not at Nevermore, and not even at Wednesday's side. But when everything fell apart, Enid proved once again that loyalty doesn't come from being the strongest or the smartest, but from showing up when it matters most. In the finale's most emotional moments, Enid stood by Wednesday, even when Wednesday tried to push her away. This act of friendship wasn't just touching, it was powerful enough to remind Wednesday that she doesn't have to face the darkness alone. Xavier's journey reached a bittersweet point as well. For most of the season, he tried to be there for Wednesday, even when she kept him at arm's length. In the finale, his frustration boiled over. The betrayal made him realize just how much distance Wednesday had put between herself and those who cared for her. While Xavier's arc didn't end with triumph, it revealed something crucial. Sometimes love and loyalty aren't enough to protect someone who refuses to let others in. His disappointment and heartbreak gave the finale a more human layer, balancing the supernatural twists with raw emotional truth. Then there's Bianca, whose presence in Part 2 was more complex than ever. Her loyalty was constantly questioned, and her motives seemed unclear even to her closest allies. But the finale gave her one of the most striking moments of growth. Instead of choosing self-preservation, Bianca took a stand, proving that she wasn't defined by her family's dark legacy or her manipulative past. By risking herself when it mattered, she not only earned Wednesday's respect but also reminded the audience that redemption is always possible, even in a world filled with secrets and lies. The villains of the season also got their emotional payoffs. What made the betrayal so haunting wasn't just the reveal, but the motivation behind it. The villain wasn't a one-dimensional figure chasing chaos for the sake of it. Their actions were tied to wounds from the past-hold betrayals, buried secrets, and a deep need for revenge. This complexity didn't excuse their cruelty, but it made their choices more chilling. The audience could see how pain and anger had twisted them, and that made the betrayal feel more personal and tragic. Every character arc in the finale tied back to a single theme: connection. Wednesday wanted to believe she didn't need anyone, but the ending showed her that emotions, trust, and even heartbreak are what give her strength. Enid proved that loyalty matters. Xavier showed the cost of emotional walls. Bianca revealed the power of redemption, and the villain demonstrated how dangerous it can be to let pain turn into obsession. The emotional payoff of these arcs wasn't just about tying up storylines. It was about making the audience feel the weight of what was lost and what was gained. By the end of the finale, viewers weren't just shocked by the twist, they were emotionally shaken by what it meant for the characters they've grown to. Love, Wednesday's world may be dark, but it's the beating hearts around her that make it unforgettable. What makes Wednesday stand apart from other shows is not just the shocking twists or witty dialogue, it's the layers of symbolism and hidden details carefully woven into every frame. The finale of Season 2 Part 2 didn't just deliver answers, it sprinkled in dozens of subtle clues, callbacks, and visual metaphors that gave the story a much deeper meaning. Watching it once gives you the thrills. Watching it again makes you realize just how much you missed. One of the most striking symbols in the finale was the use of mirrors. Throughout the last episode, mirrors appeared in key scenes, whether it was Wednesday staring at her own reflection or characters seen through fragmented glass. This wasn't accidental. The mirrors represented duality and deception, showing how nothing was ever what it seemed. By the time the betrayal was revealed, the mirror imagery came full circle, highlighting that the true enemy was hiding in plain sight, reflecting back at Wednesday in ways she never noticed. Another recurring symbol was the raven, which has always been tied to Wednesday's identity. In the finale, the raven appeared more than once, almost like a silent observer. But here, its meaning shifted. Instead of symbolizing independence and darkness, it became a warning and omen of betrayal and change. The raven perched silently in moments of tension, almost as if it was foreshadowing the storm about to break. This clever use of Gothic imagery made the finale feel richer, turning small background moments into haunting clues. The finale also leaned heavily into color symbolism. Wednesday is always associated with black and white, representing her sharp contrast to the world around her. But in the final scenes, splashes of red stood out, whether in lighting, clothing, or symbolic objects. Red in Gothic storytelling often represents passion, danger, or blood, and here it carried all three meanings at once. The red hinted at betrayal, heightened emotion, and the violence of the truth finally being uncovered. It was a visual way of telling the audience that the world Wednesday thought she understood had been stained forever. There were also clever callbacks to Season 1. Fans who paid close attention noticed parallels between the Season 1 finale and the Season 2 Part 2 finale. In both cases, Wednesday faced a betrayal from someone she underestimated. But the difference this time was how much more personal and devastating it felt. The writers clearly wanted to show that Wednesday hasn't just been solving mysteries, she's been walking in circles, forced to learn the same painful lesson until she truly understands it. These parallels weren't just for nostalgia. They were reminders that history repeats itself until someone is strong enough to break the cycle. The Addams family legacy itself played a subtle role in the finale. Small nods to Gomez, Morticia, and the family's dark traditions showed up in symbols around Nevermore. Certain lines of dialogue echoed Morticia's past advice to Wednesday, reminding us that the Addams family's eerie wisdom is always in the background, even when they're not on screen. These Easter eggs deepened the sense that Wednesday's story is part of a much larger, darker legacy, one that will no doubt continue in future seasons. One of the most intriguing hidden clues was the use of music. The finale score wasn't just background sound, it carried secrets of its own. At one key moment, a haunting melody from Season 1 returned, but slowed down and altered. This was a deliberate callback, reminding the audience of an earlier betrayal while hinting that the cycle of trust and deception was repeating itself. For those who listened closely, the music itself told a story as powerful as the visuals. The final scene in particular was packed with symbolism. From the setting's gothic design to the placement of props, everything was carefully chosen. A flickering candle hinted at the fragility of trust, a locked door in the background teased future mysteries, and even the way the camera lingered on Wednesday's expression suggested more than words ever could. These choices weren't random, they were deliberate signals that the story isn't over, and that the finale is only the beginning of something darker. What makes all of these symbols and clues so powerful is how seamlessly they blended into the story. Casual viewers may have missed them, but for fans who love to analyze, the finale was a treasure chest of hidden meanings. It showed once again that Wednesday isn't just about creepy mysteries, it's about layered storytelling, where every shadow, every color, and every glance has something to say. By the end, the symbolism made one truth crystal clear: this wasn't just an ending, it was a message. Wednesday's world is built on secrets, and even when one mystery is solved, another one is already taking shape in the shadows.